institution Africa needs. Over the next 2 days, may Kigali be a place of serious conversations, new partnerships, and concrete decisions. I wish you all a productive and successful Africa CEO Forum. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause for Jean-Guy Africa, the CEO of the Rwanda Development Board. I would like to now welcome Maktar Diop, the Managing Director of the International Finance Corporation, for a few words. Maktar, where are you? There you are. Good to see you. Lovely to see you.
Your Excellency President Paul Kagame, Your Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Your Excellency President Mohamed Sheikh El Ghazouani, Your Excellency President Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, Your Excellency President Chapeau, Your Excellency President Mamadi Doumbouya, Your Excellency Vice President Ndamba Adlai, Prime Minister of Côte d'Ivoire Robert Begré-Mabé, distinguished guests, business leaders, ministers. It's an honor to return to Kigali, His Excellency President Paul Kagame and the people of Rwanda. Thank you for this extraordinary welcome. Kigali commands attention not only of what others say, but because of what it achieves, a vision rendered in concrete reality. I would like to thank our co-hosts, Jeune Afrique and Amit Ben Ahmed, for the work that I've been doing together for the past years. If you allow me, I would like to recognize someone that I'm proud to call a long-standing brother, Sidi Ould-Tah, President of the African Development Bank. Sidi. Sidi Ould-Tah, across Mission 300, infrastructure corridors, capital mobilization for our continent's most fragile economy, we stand on the same front lines, waging the same battle. Our partnership is not protocol. It's a strategic imperative of two African brothers, of two institutions who care for development. I'm honored, Sidi, to count you as a both partner and a brother in arms. Thank you, shukran. We gather at a moment of profound global disruption. Conflicts spreading across multiple regions are not abstract events. They strike our economies directly. Food costs are surging, foreign reserves depleted, debt escalating, capital withdrawing. These shocks underscore with an urgency impossible to dismiss one essential truth. There is no sustainable development without sound macroeconomic foundation. Resilience is not assembled during a crisis. It's forged before one arrives through fiscal discipline and other instruments that we know. The nation best equipped to absorb today's shock are those who have the discipline to lay those foundations when conditions allowed. Yet, through all this turbulence, one reality has never been sharper. Emerging markets are no longer the margin of the global system. They are its engine. Sub-Saharan Africa represents 60% of the world population, under 25. Within a generation, 1 in 3 workers on this planet will be African, 1 out of 3. And we know the sources of jobs. 9 in 10 are generated by the private sector in developing countries. The question before us is therefore direct and pressing. Can we link African talent, its capital, its market into engines of employment and at which scale? World Bank President Ajebanga has anchored the World Bank Group strategy around 5 priorities. Those 5 priorities come from his consultation with the head of states. These 5 sectors are engines of structural transformation capable of absorbing the vast cohort of young people entering the labor force. These are equally the defining pillars of what IFC is doing in Africa. Let me just break it down quickly for you. Energy and infrastructure. No economy industrialized without dependable power. Through Mission 300, we are committed to bringing electricity to 300 million Africans through regional grids, mini-grids, off-grid systems, and with private capital at the center of it. We need integrated energy markets that keep the light on. These are also important for economic development. We need to accelerate the participation in transmission. This is the next frontier. We are seeing a lot of people investing in generation, but the private sector doesn't access investment in transmission, which will be critical. But we need to do it with all sorts of energy. And I would like to thank and once again congratulate Rwanda for taking the leadership in diversifying the source of energy for the continent, with including nuclear as an option for African countries. Thank you for the leadership, Mr. President. Agriculture, Africa holds 60% of the world untapped arable land. Global food demand will rise by 50% over the next 3 decades. Through AgriConnect, we are channeling private sector capital money into agriculture value chain, and this from input to processing through a logistic and market access. When agriculture shifts from subsistence production to integrated chains, it generates unemployment throughout the value chain, anchor natural economies, and feed downstream industries. The goal is income resilience and job at scale. Let me turn about something which is important because it's shaped a lot of our economic history in the continent. Corridors and connectivity. Africa corridors were largely built during the colonial period for a single objective: extract commodities and move them to the coast and transform with no industrial dividend for local populations. That logic must be buried. The Lopito Corridor, Simandu, this initiative carry a different vision. A corridor that carries raw ore generates handling work. A corridor that carries processed steel, manufactured goods, generate industry, transport agricultural product, transform agricultural product is development. This distinction is important. It's a decision, and we need to build on it. Corridors are not only to export raw material for Africa. They are here to create jobs and make our economy more resilient. Healthcare, human capital, and skill. Investing in health means investing in the most elemental input of any economy. Africa's health systems are underfunded and heavily reliant on imports. The private sector has a transformative part to play: community clinics, telemedicine, local pharmaceutical production. If I want to be frank, something we do not say enough is that a healthy workforce is only as productive as a skilled workforce. And I remember vividly, during the crisis of COVID, our President Kagame gathered the leadership here to ensure that there is independence in the production of vaccine needed for our population. Thank you for all the leaders here who have been showing that Africa can take things in their hand when they need to have it. But I would like to say something about vocational and technical education. These are essential elements to development, as well as digital literacy and entrepreneurship. These are the foundation, I would say the infrastructure of human capital, and must command the same urgency as road and power lines. Let's talk now about something which is important also: critical mineral and value-added manufacturing and small AI. Africa cannot continue shipping raw materials only to repurchase them as finished goods at a premium. Cobalt, lithium, manganese, graphite. Africa critical mineral situates this continent at the center of the global energy transition. Our collective obligation is to ensure that strategic position yields local wealth and industrial employment, not merely extractive income. This is a matter of sovereignty. But the conclusion, the discussion on critical mineral may be joined by a discussion on artificial intelligence. What I call small AI, precision, context-specific application built to address concrete African realities. AI tools that help a smallholder farmer in the Sahel identify the optimal planting windows. An AI system that allow a district clinic to detect malaria faster and more reliably. An AI model trained on local languages, local data, local conditions. These are not distant aspirations. They are deployable today and represent a remarkable opportunity to compress decades of development in sector where we have historically lagged. The mineral powering global AI hardware lies largely beneath African soil. It would be a historic failure of imagination if Africa provided the raw inputs for the AI revolution while remaining a consumer rather than a co-architect of its rewards. Small AI is our portal into that future, and we must step through it. Now talking about our private sector in Africa, the SMEs, the regional champion, the African capital market. In Africa, jobs are created by small and medium enterprises, and we don't talk about it enough. These first and second generation family enterprises that I saw in Guinea, in Nigeria, in Cote d'Ivoire, in East Africa,